Do you know that there are so many mistakes you can make in the beginner even if you know the game beforehand? And that is me with this final test. So the final test is coming to the end and the global launch of the game is going to be on June 5th. In today's video, I will list out all the mistakes that I make so that I will not make them again and you will not as well. So the first mistake is going to be in the summoning part of the game. So when you started the game, instead of these 4 banners, there's going to be one extra called the targeted summon, which is going to be for the newbies to get an SSR very quickly. So for the special raider banner, the pity is going to be 100 summon. For the standard banner, the pity for SSR is going to be 80 summon, but for the targeted early game beginner banner, it is going to be 40 summon, and you can choose what you want to get from that banner, which is very beginner friendly, and you can get exactly what you want and not a random between 5 or 6 different SSR. So I will actually not summon on that banner maybe even 1 week into the game, because you don't have to. You don't need any crazy SSR to clear out the story mode to complete early game challenges stages. You don't need any SSR to do so. The game is very beginner friendly, so you can use SR and the free-to-play SSR that they give you to complete most of the early game challenges and the story in the very first week. And after you've been playing the game for the first week and know what your account lack, because you cannot control what the game will give you. So I have been playing and paying, but I don't even have half the SSR in the game. So I can tell that my account is lacking maybe a strong single target DPS or a strong win AoE DPS like Remoka. But because I use the targeted banner, I cannot choose the one that I need anymore. So I will not choose to use the targeted summon early on, like many other people who will immediately use that, use up the 40 pity, choose an SSR, and go ham with that SSR. There's nothing wrong with that, but personally, I would not do that. The second summon mistake that I did was I summoned on the Messiah banners. And by doing so, I accidentally pulled a dupe Messiah without wanting a Messiah. I could have pulled a different Apex animals like Doki or Lily who could have boosted my progression like crazy because they are so good. But instead, I accidentally clicked on the Messiah banner and used up my 10 light dark Apex prototype summon, and I got a dupe Messiah, and I got another dupe Messiah from the standard banner. Unbelievable. How's that even possible? So many copy of this guy, and I don't even have Lily or Doki. That is crazy. I'm so glad this is not the global launch account, because I'll be pissed. Okay, Lily and Doki are ridiculously good for like the longevity of any account. So if you're not interested in the banner, let's say you pull one copy of Freya, you don't have to keep pulling on the banner. You can pull in the permanent summon if you want to use your summoning ticket and not save for future banner. Then you can use it here, because in this one, you will have the probability to pull the Apex animals. Okay, if you pull in the Freya banner, there's no Apex animals. You will only get Freya, and I don't think dupe Freya is gonna change your game. However, pulling a Doki or Lily is going to be absolutely crazy. So that is the summoning part. Another thing about summoning is the crystal supply pack here. This is actually a bait. This is a trap by the dev team, okay? Gonna be straight up, this is a trap. It is not crystal supply, because the only thing you are supplying is summoning currency. You are losing the crystal. It's more like crystal sink or crystal toilet, because you are just flushing all your crystal down the drain when you buy these packages. All right, these are for the whales who want to summon. For free-to-play player, please, if you value progression in this kind of game, where in the end game gear is gonna dictate the majority of how strong your account is, not your unit, your gear, your speed, your stat is very important. And you can do that by farming with gem refreshes. And if you buy these, you will run out of gem very quickly. Early game, maybe the game gonna give you so much gem that you think you're rich, but no, these two packages exist so that the whale can buy them and summon and fulfill their gambling desires. But you need to be using gem to farm gear, farm shell, farm progression material, because that's gonna be so much better in the long run. There's no super value about crystal supply at all. The only value is for the dev to make money. But then, if you see this, right? 800 gem for 10 summon. In this game, 1 summon equal to 100 gem. If you have 5 tickets, for example, and you want to do a 10 summon, the game will auto purchase for you. If you're missing 5 summon, they're gonna buy 5 prototype for you with 500 gem. Amazing, right? But then that is actually even more expensive than using the gem in the crystal supply shop. So this is another way for the game to quickly drain your crystal to make more money. So if you don't have 10 summoning prototype, please don't click on the X10 summon. It is only for the whales and you'll be burning your crystal like paper. It is crazy. And that is the summoning part. Next up is going to be gameplay. So in the early game, in this kind of game, you would think, wow, the highest rarity unit is going to be the strongest unit that you have, which is technically kind of true. However, in this kind of game, or in almost every other game, building the lower rarity unit is going to be easier. And it is the same in this game as well, because some of the biggest progression that you can get for your unit is going to be in the progress. So for the SSR unit, you're going to need something called the perfect lattice, and you will not get this yellow tofu looking block thing that easily. In fact, it is one of the rarest things to get in the game. Even if you whale out, you spend all your money in all the packages, you will not be able to fully build, I think, 2 or 3 SSR fully skill up, and that is very, very tough. However, they do give you a bit more in the purple lattice to skill up SR character, and it is extremely easy to max out an R character if you really want to. So there are a couple good R character, like let's say Ashu is actually not too bad with some strong AoE skill, and these Kachi and Sibyl can be useful together with No 41, which is a decent support unit as well, with turn meter boost, attack buff, and a bit of healing in her kit. So building out No 41, maxing her progress, giving her more speed, giving her lower cooldown, which is very important, is gonna help you out a lot. And building her is so much easier than building a Linglo, because you have to build whatever SSR that you reroll for, and then if you happen to reroll for like Apex SSR, you're gonna build that and you're gonna put all your resources into that. And they actually make it so desirable to max out some of the characters skill 1, because they hide in the skill 1 speed stat, which is very important for certain character. So to build 2 SSR in the early game, like just 2, is already a quite challenging task, and you don't need SSR to complete crazy story progression or Ember track or challenges to farm gear or shell. You can use SR character to do all of that. There's so many amazing SR even for speed clear team. So I have been building a lot of SSR, and I've been wasting a lot of resources around them, and I can't build them properly. But when the global launch hit, I'll be focusing on 2 SSR, okay? 2 maximum, because I know I cannot build more than that, and I'll be focusing my resources on my SR until I can gather more perfect lattice to build out an SSR properly, because it is really hard to do so. Next one's gonna be a good old classic in every video game that you have heard before. It is going to be leveling up your early game gear. Yes, you would see many people that has maxed out yellow gear, which is actually a very shit tier of gear. But because this is the beta and we kind of want to just have fun and do whatever, we maxed out these random ass yellow gear. And the higher tier gear will give you more stat at the end of the day. And especially it is going to be a very good upgrade in the percentage stat. As you can see right there, the maximum percentage for the yellow gear is 38%, but for the outstanding piece is going to be 43%, and that's not even the highest quality yet. That's going to be the red gear as well, which is going to be giving me 50% when you maxed out the gear. and the different percentage might seem kind of small, but when you take into consideration the base stat of these character can be humongous when you maxed out the level, the difference with 10%, 12% in stat is going to be huge. And farming Etheria coin in the early game is going to be a problem for many players if you want to max out your gear and trying to push for harder content. And if you just maxed out every single piece along your way because you are chasing the quad speed, you are going to run out of money very quickly. So don't go ham and cheese on your gear, but I think the most reasonable level is going to be +9. Okay, you don't need to go +15, but going to +9 is achievable and affordable. So don't go too crazy. +9 is gonna be good enough. And also, if possible, if you take a look at the gear, even on the highest or very high rarity, there are going to be outstanding gear that start out with 1 substat, which is garbage. Okay, and there are going to be yellow gear that start out with 2 substat, or I don't know if I can get 3 from the yellow gear, but I think from yellow gear it's gonna be 2. But you want to get your hands on gear that start out with at least maybe 3 substat. I think that's gonna be much more beneficial for you in the long run. But never, okay, never. If possible, I cannot say never because I'll probably do that too. Okay, ignore all the 1 substat gear if possible, because you have to upgrade them to start unlocking the substat. However, if you upgrade a piece of gear that start out with 3 substat, for example this one, you +3, you will unlock 1 more level of substat, and now you can start increasing the substat of your gear. If you start out with 1, you need to spend 3 upgrade to unlock 3 other substat and then start upgrading. So the higher color doesn't instantly mean it's better. If it's higher color but it has only 1 substat, please just probably ignore it. Okay, you don't have to spend 3 level upgrade just for the substat to appear. You want as many chances to upgrade your substat as possible because you want that speed, you want a crit rate, and you want to upgrade them in the substat as much as possible. And lastly is going to be the shell. Once again, very classic. Don't just level up any shell that you see. Okay, the shell currency might seem like, oh, I have so much, I don't have to worry about that at all, but it's gonna run out as well. And in the highest level of shell that we can achieve after like 1 week of playtime, you are going to need a lot of the training data currency to upgrade your shell, start up your shell, and the most important is to reconfigure the shell passive effect. This is gonna cost you a lot of training data because you don't just want any passive effect. For example, I'm using this shell on my fastest unit to open up for my team with AoE turn meter pushback on the enemy unit. I want this guy to be fast. I want shadow dash. I want speed. I don't want crit rate. I don't want crit damage. I don't want healing done. He's doing none of that shit. I want speed. And to get this beautiful passive effect here, I spend a fuck ton of training data. Way too much. And you need a lot of that. So don't be randomly upgrading every shell that you see because they look kind of funny, they look kind of cute. No. It is going to get extremely expensive to max out 1 shell properly. And I did that. I just upgrade random ass shell because I felt like it. I thought I could not run out of this because I got so much in the early game. I felt like I had so much. And then one day, boom, I have 0 in like a couple clicks. It's crazy. So be careful with your resources. Overall, this game can be very punishing if you just click random ass button without knowing what the hell's going on. And one last thing that I'm going to leave you with is that the game will prompt you to use your mental stabilizer, your stamina pot, your stamina saving thingy. Don't use it, okay? If you want to refresh a couple times per day to farm, use the gem. Don't use this because this one you can save, you can hoard, you can keep as many as you want. And in the future, when the global launch hit, there's going to be an event that will double whatever you farm in certain dungeon. So right now is the, wait, no, not this one. I think right now it's the outpost. They are having some problem with the event info, but anyway, they're going to have double the drop of these dungeon, and the double drop is mind-blowing because you don't just get the drop, you get coin, you get summon, you get gem randomly dropped from these dungeon, and it's gonna be double. It's crazy. You can do like 10 run and suddenly get 3-4 summon. It's amazing. And you want to save your stamina pot for these particular event that happens maybe once a month, and you need those pot because when the days hit and you want to farm more, but you can only refresh your gem 10 times, but you want to farm more, you can't do that. So save your pot and farm during these particular window of doubling of the drop rate or whatever. Anyway, guys, that is the mistake that I hope I will not make in the global launch. I know I will make them again potentially, or I'll make new mistake. I'll update you guys then. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.